All right, we are live. I'm so excited to be here. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to today's LinkedIn Live. I am Ashley Bernardi, the CEO of Nardi Media, where we help mission-driven authors, thought leaders, organizations, and more amplify their message through powerful media placements and media training. And if you're joining us today, we have an amazing expert. I want you to drop your questions in the chat. We can get to them, so we'd love to hear from you. I'm thrilled to be joined by my friend and go-to social media strategist, Karlyn Ankrom. She's founder of Snap Social. And if you've ever said, I know I need to be on social, but I have no idea what to post, I hear this all the time. Karlyn is your girl. She helps brands and authors turn the I don't know what to say into content that connects and converts. And I'm so excited for this combo because we see so many authors struggle. I mean, anyone who wants to get publicity struggle with what to say and where to start on social. So Karlyn, I am so grateful to have you and your brilliance here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks for having me. I'm equally pumped to be joining you today.
Yeah, we've got a lot to get through. So let's start at the beginning. Before a book launches, okay, we're talking specifically for authors here. I know you see a lot of authors wait too long to get active online. What is the opportunity? I see this too. What is the opportunity that they're missing?
Oh my gosh, this happens more oftentimes than not. I think it's definitely a huge missed opportunity because you're not bringing your audience along for the journey, for your writing process. Like your book didn't randomly poof, magically appear overnight. It's been months or even years for some of us in the making. Yeah. People love that juicy behind the scenes stories. Right. They want to see the wins. They want to see, the messy middles. They want to see the research rabbit holes that we all get stuck in. And if you're not sharing that, you're really missing the chance to build real buzz and real anticipation and trust at the same time. And let's be honest, social media isn't just a promotion tool. It's really a place to build relationships over time. So if you wait until your launch day to show up, it's like inviting people to a party that they actually didn't know they were invited to in the first place.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the timeline, a lot of authors are a year in advance. I say start as soon as possible. What would you tell them if in the book writing process, right? Tell me a little bit about what you think in terms of an exact timeline.
I would say as soon as you have the idea for a book and you realize that maybe your online presence isn't running in tandem with your book writing or your book ideation, or if you're pitching literary agents, it just depends too, right? On what publishing avenue you're going down, because some you really need to have a solid online presence that is not only consistent in creating content, but also having a certain level of audience or followers and engagement. All of this is what is baked into your literary process, your authorship process. It just depends on what avenue you're going to leverage for your publishing.
Yeah. And I can say this, that if you are hoping to go down the traditional publishing route or not, but specifically with traditional publishing, it's platform, more so than ever. So if you are writing your book and you don't have a platform, you better start building your platform. In fact, if you have a book idea, better to start building your platform now than waiting. And please, if you're hearing from Karlyn and I here, don't wait until launch. You need to get out and talk about it now to build those people that you want to invite to the party.
Yeah. And I'll just kind of add to the last thing to add to this is when you're engaging with an audience, you're right, you're building an audience and you're kind of doing this light market research too at the same time of what messages that you're sharing are actually sticking with people. And then how can you add that to your book, or maybe it takes a different path as a separate chapter. There's a lot of opportunity here, not in just pushing content, but also pulling content and ideas from other people that are engaging with you.
So such a great point too. Okay. So then we talked about before launch. After launch, a lot of authors are also okay, done, gonna go quiet. It's crossing the finish line and then ghosting your fans. But we wouldn't want to do that in a marathon, right? So like, what is the timeline after launch? And I mean, I have my own thoughts and I can talk about my own book, but I want to hear from you.
Yes, this one gets me too. Authors put so much time into the launch and then just disappear, right? Thinking, oh, the job is done. I published my book and I'm out. But really,
Yeah.
launch day is really kind of the beginning or like the renaissance, right, of your next, pun intended, I guess, chapter. Your book isn't old news a week later. And I think even just today, you were talking about your book actually yesterday for World Health
Yeah.
Day.
Yep.
You tied it into a national day and it made it
Right.
once again continually relevant. And so
Yep.
look for those opportunities. Ashley is a prime example of finding those opportunities and sharing it. She doesn't always share about her book. I wish she would share about her book more.
I know. I'm guilty of this. Like, that's the point is I am so guilty of this because even for me as a broadcaster, it just feels weird to be self-promotional.
Yes,
How do
yes.
we break? I'm going to go off script. How do we break through that mindset of like, oh, I don't want to sound too icky to like the people? Because here's the thing, I posted yesterday, and by the way, my book is 4 years old, so I'm definitely still talking about it, but I don't do it enough, and I should do it more. But it's that icky mindset of like sounding too salesy. So how do we break through that?
The statement that I share with my clients and I consistently even say to myself is the content isn't about you, it's about
Yeah,
your audience.
that's right.
It's about impacting them because we serve like the same audience, right? Like those heart-centered, change-making people that want
Yep.
to create change in the world. And we also tend to be very humble beings, which is great. And if you're not talking about your thing, how on earth is anyone going to know about it? Like there's still new readers who haven't heard of you
Yeah.
or your process. So there's still tons of stories to tell, lessons to share, takeaways to highlight. It's your job now, after you've kind of pressed that publish button and you've launched, to create that longevity. I mean, example, you know, 4 years ago you wrote this book and it's still creating change today.
Yeah.
So just think of your book as that long-term content generator. There's tons of content in that book, and that's exactly what I, teach my clients as part of the Expert Excellence Engine group program, is how to repurpose, how to get more ROI out of your book. You've done the hard part. You've written the book. Now, how can we post-launch ladder up to whatever your next goal is, whether it's generating more book sales, whether it's appearing on more stages as a speaker, or getting more media placements with the help of Ashley and her team. Like, what is that next thing? Is it to unlock all these different opportunities? And you have to plan for that, not just after launch day, but like before, so you have a plan going into that. And that's exactly what we help people do.
And I love what you're helping people do. It's reminding me of something that I tell authors all the time, to remember that you are your best secret marketing weapon. It's not your publisher. It's not your publicist. If you're not out there talking about your book on your social platforms, then what is going to motivate other people to do the same? I can take this advice too, you guys. Like, I'm guilty of it. It is hard for me to break through to be salesy, but I'm learning that if you flip it to like, no, actually, I'm going to help people by sharing my story. I'm going to be of service and reach the people that's the point I wrote the book in the first place. So just remember, you have a responsibility. You are your best secret marketing weapon. So therefore you need to be on social media and showing up consistently and regularly.
Yes. Co-sign all of the above.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the media. This is what we do. We help authors secure media placements for their book launch. So let's talk about what about when authors land media? They get great interviews, they get a review, and then it's like post it once or twice. But you're going to say, I know what you're going to say. What do you say to that? And what should authors be doing?
This is my pet peeve of all pet peeves, because as someone who is helping authors create content at scale and consistently, why are we not going to use all of the things that you have in your, folder of things? Like if someone else is hyping you up, don't let it be a one and done. Like, you can turn that interview into 5 different types of content. You can turn it into an audiogram. You can pull a quote and turn it into a quote graphic. You can turn it into a reel, a short soundbite, carousels. You can put it in your email newsletter, right? And as long as the content is still relevant months later, you can share it, because truth be told, and I say this all the time, people don't remember what they saw on social media 2 weeks ago, just like they didn't remember what they had for breakfast this morning.
That's
like
exactly.
it is so noisy. And so, if I always tell my clients, if you are consistently sharing about your thing over and over again and you feel tired by your messaging, chances are you're probably doing it right, because it takes, I don't even know what the stat is now, Ashley, like 12 or something touches for anyone to take action, which is like wild to think about. So share it again and again and again, repackage it, because media is gold. Like, having that edification of someone else sharing about how awesome you are and having you take center stage, quite literally, it is the biggest trust builder. And if you're like spending all your time either traveling to that station or spending time on the podcast, and you're not repurposing it for your own socials or your own email newsletter, it's like literally flushing your time down the toilet. And the last time I checked, all of our time is very, very valuable. So kind of act like it is, because it is.
Yeah, it is. And so I love that. Take your content and splice it up into 5 different things, 5 different ways. Use a pull quote, create a graphic, show a clip, break up the clips. Like Karlyn and I were talking about how we're going to be breaking up this interview and splicing it up for social media. That's exactly what you should be doing with your media opportunities that you secure. And I love that. I say the same thing to my authors, and even still, like, I've done a ton of TV for my book. We are still repurposing that, at least on Nardi. I need to do it more on my personal page. I recognize that. But like that's gold. That is gold in content that you have forever. Use it forever, right?
Yeah. And so many people don't leverage that. And especially if it's around like a specific day, that national day comes around every single year.
Every year.
Yeah.
I'll give an example for my book, because I'm working on, we have May coming up. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, but it's also Lyme Disease Awareness Month, in which that's what I wrote my book about, recovering from Lyme disease. So it's just a great time for me to be out there connecting with people, hopefully reaching people who may have or be suffering from Lyme disease, or from anything, from any difficult moment or experience, and helping them through that. So think about those like awareness months and holidays. That's a great time to be showing up on social media too, kind of like what I did yesterday with World Health Day.
Yes. Beautiful.
All right, so let's bring it back to what authors can be doing to keep the momentum going post launch. And this is what, like, I spoke to a business book mastermind over the weekend, and I was like, guys, it's your calling card forever. You're like, your book is your book. Yeah. I want to hear though from you, the social media expert, on how we keep that momentum up on social for years to come after the book is published.
I mean, I think you hit it right on the head, right? Like, the book is your best business card.
That's right.
And it's often the key that opens many, many doors in a professional landscape. So you have to just remember to ask yourself, like, how does this connect? How does this content that I have in my book connect to my overarching bigger message, my services, or the conversations I want to have with prospects or even current clients? Then create content that really zooms in or like magnifies on those specific chapters, or those specific messages that are all intertwined in your book. Reader questions, key takeaways. There's often ways that you can take your book and create a series. So for example, I just launched a book with, it's a collective book, right? And it is now officially an Amazon bestseller in 3 categories, which is super exciting.
Yay,
And the book we're utilizing as a workbook for a virtual series. So all of the authors who collaborated on this book are hosting an additional deeper dive on their chapter as a series. So we're using that book as the framework and developing those online virtual workshops that coincide with it. So it really helps bridge the gap between like a physical book, online spaces, And it allows us as authors to connect with those readers in real time, which is pretty stinking cool, I think. And it's just a really great way to just bridge to bigger opportunities. So social media gives you your book, I guess, like, to sound cheesy, gives your book a heartbeat long after its launch, and it's just there forever. And I just think people forget that you wrote this book and you like, yay, gold star, and then you worked so hard on it. Tell everybody about it, you know? And I
That's
think
right.
just in society, we're so built to be very humble. But I invite you to have, I think, what we call, Ashley, right, the healthy ego. And
Yes. The ego
and
is our
share with
ally.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And find those people. And if you don't like to promote it, and this is what our book is all of, my collaborative book is all about, is finding those empowered partners in your network who also don't mind sharing about your thing.
That's right.
Then it feels less like cumbersome on you and less salesy on you, but then you're giving your trusted partners something to share to their audience, so long as your audience are aligned.
Yes, you hear that, authors? Utilize your network. You're your best secret weapon. So we've got some good questions in the chat here. So Stephanie asks, all right, do we go narrow or big regarding the audience? That's a great question, because I know we're not for everyone. So what do you say, Karlyn?
I think the more specific you can be, the better engagement you're going to have, because if you're speaking to everyone, you're inherently also speaking to no one. So
That's
all
right.
of your content needs to be very specific. So instead of being like, so if you're just trying to think of, like, if you're, you know, someone who helps moms, right, with the busy lifestyle, hey, busy moms, okay, yes, we're all busy, but hey, busy moms who just talked a toddler out of wearing a tutu to daycare today, like, specific, right?
That's right.
That's what I did this morning. So, you know,
And people can relate to that.
yeah, if people can relate to, like, the kooky outfits that our toddlers come up with that they decidedly wanted to wear. So just the more specific, the better on social and any of that messaging, because it helps you stand out and helps people be like, ooh, this person's for me. This person's for
Yes.
me. Mm-hmm.
That's right. It's like, it makes it feel as if you're speaking directly to them. I teach this in media training too. The more meaningfully specific you can be, the more likely you are going to relate to the people you want to reach. So I think that's a great piece of advice. Okay, so Stephanie also asks, what if you don't have a website ready to go? Should you still start posting and sharing, thinking like a marketer call to action?
I don't wait, number one. And the easiest thing, if you don't have a website, is prop up a Google form and start collecting email addresses. Like, it doesn't need to be super, you know, a huge lift. Everyone generally knows how to create, you know, a Google form. Prop up a Google form, slap your logo up there, or like the book cover if you've got one, and say, join the waitlist, be the first to know when my book goes live.
Yep.
That's it. Yep.
That's right. Yeah. I always say keep it simple too.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, start building your platform. Like, just go. I mean, it's time. Start sharing content behind, like what we talked about in the beginning, the behind the scene photos of you working on your book or taking a walk, taking a break from writing, right? Like, people want to know who you are as a human, in addition to what you're writing about too.
And when we go live like this, smile.
And look at, hey, we're going live. I love it. Okay, we have another question here too, Karlyn. Sherry says, I see so often that our authors are uncomfortable promoting their work and themselves. I produce a series of book awards celebration. These are all award-winning authors, and so many of them don't have any web or social presence. My mission is always to encourage them to at least start small with one platform. Comments to that, Karlyn?
Yes, keep it simple. One platform, one post a week, one story at a time, and just build up that muscle so that you can be more consistent. My goal is, because everyone's, you know, there's a lot of social gurus out there. They're like, post every day, every day. That is the fastest way to burn out. Why? Because I've been there, and I don't recommend it for everybody. So I think 3 posts is like where I find like the sweet spot. 3 posts a week is like good. But if you're brand new, start with one story, one platform, one post.
Keep it simple and be specific. I love that. And Sherry, I can relate to that too. We were talking about this. It can be so uncomfortable to promote yourself. It's a mindset thing. And what I tell authors, especially because I'm an author too, remember you're being of service to the people that you want to reach. You have something to teach them. They have something to learn from you. And it is your job and your responsibility as an author to be your best advocate for your book. Be your best advocate and your biggest cheerleader for your book. It's got to be you. Authors are you as the author are your best secret weapon. All right, more questions, Karlyn. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm loving these. Keep asking, guys. Okay, so Stephanie asks, what's your collective recommendation for most effective platform from ROI perspective for authors? I realize that it is audience dependent, but let's say it is a choice among Substack, IG, Facebook, TikTok. I often feel like Substack is an echo chamber of writers. This is a good question. What are your thoughts on this, Karlyn?
I mean, if Substack feels like an echo chamber, I feel like Substack is successful when you're also amplifying it from other platforms where more commonly used by the masses. Mm-hmm. However, you're absolutely right. It is audience dependent. If your audience is a lot of business to business type people, you got to be on LinkedIn. If it's kind of a mixture of like business to consumer or like just, generally helping the larger group with their health or whatever, sleep, IG is probably where a lot of those people are hanging out, and test things. Like, so for me, I think the level of expectation is like, oh, you do social media, you must be everywhere. I am everywhere. And I only focus on 2 platforms with goals and intention. One is LinkedIn, because that's the majority of my business, and Instagram is where I get to be silly and myself more, a little bit less, straight-laced, if you will. And that's where I get to have fun. That's where I get to connect with people on a very human level. I would say LinkedIn is finally getting there a little bit more, thank goodness. But yeah, go where your audience is. I'd love to hear your thoughts too, Ashley, on this, because I know you have thoughts as well.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, go where your audience is hanging out. My audience is the same as you. They're on LinkedIn and they're on IG, and it's the same thing. Like, I can be a little bit more professional and buttoned up on LinkedIn, and then Karlyn and I can post sweaty selfies of us in dance class on IG, which we do. So yeah, and I do think people want to see that human side of you. As a TV producer, I'm always like, where's I want to see the behind the scenes. I want to see the real person, the human. So I think of that. Stephanie also asked, what are your thoughts on Reddit as a channel? Is it worthwhile?
I feel like Reddit is kind of it's underutilized, and I feel like it's kind of a cesspool. It's easy because a big trend that we're seeing in 2025 on social media is people trying to make the internet feel smaller. Mm-hmm. So it's great if you have a very specific niche and you're really trying to focus on that niche and be one of those thought leaders in that niche. Find those subreddits, be on there and start engaging with them. What I like about Reddit is it actually doesn't involve you creating this like full-blown profile and all this content. It's really about having more conversations. So if you're like more into that, we're getting that thought leadership, find the subreddits and double down. Because that's where your people are hanging out as well, potentially. I don't know, but definitely look into that, because it doesn't require as big of a lift in terms of content development as we know it.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because I hadn't even thought of Reddit, and I will say that like I don't have authors that are really on Reddit either. So that's like a new avenue to explore. Like, I will go on Reddit if I'm trying to like find I will say this, a lot of journalists go on Reddit to find stories, like trending news stories. Yes. Yeah. So, and then Stephanie said, good advice, go to the platform that will advance my goals. I know on Reddit, it's both. There is a huge adoption contingency on Reddit, which is 100% one of my audiences. That said, don't want to spend a ton of time everywhere. It gets overwhelming, and you should not spend a lot of time everywhere. You shouldn't be everywhere anyway.
Correct.
Yes. So pick what do you think? 1 or 2, Karlyn? That's what we do.
Do 2 platforms really, really well. And then everything after that is just bonus points.
Yep. So, and like for us, like I'm experimenting with YouTube right now. Like, I love LinkedIn, I love IG, that's where I'm showing up. But we're also going to be posting this on YouTube just to see I'm exploring that to see if I have an audience there. But I'm also not, like, to your point, spending all my time and burning myself out there. I'm just
Yeah.
doing it as it feels right and natural to me.
Mhm.
So, Karlyn, I would love for you to talk about the expert excellence engine, and I want to hear all about this because you just launched this. Tell us who it's for and what you get in the program.
Absolutely. So I don't know why I name everything with alliteration. I just have an obsession with alliteration, but it's so hard to say out loud. So it's so hard to say. So this is for, it's a group program dedicated to authors, thought leaders, and professionals who have some type of portfolio of content, whether they have a podcast or they have a book already published. And this is where we're offering strategic guidance from me. So it's like having a social media agency in your back pocket without that steep fee that often comes with social media agencies. So you don't have to like blindly decode what's working and not working. I'm the one that's spotting the trends. I'm the one that's giving you those ideas and creating a clear and also simple path for you for social media success based on whatever your goal is. So there's like a whole onboarding process. And then every single quarter, we're going to have, I call them quarterly challenges, where we're leveraging AI as well as your own thought leadership, creating content at scale so that it sounds like you, that it is positioned precisely for your ideal client profile, which we spend the first couple weeks on just developing your ideal client profile, so that is the foundation of all of your content moving forward, because you've already done the hard part. You've written the book, you've done the podcast, you've done the speech. Now, how can we repurpose it in a way that feels strategic, intentional, and increases your efficiency overall? Because I know, just Ashley, you're busy, I'm busy, a lot of our author friends are busy, and you'll have access to me for Ask Me Anything opportunities. We'll have implementation power hours. And really, I'm looking, this is beta, it's in beta, and I'm really looking for just 6 folks who are in the authors space to join me, because I want action takers in there, and I want people who are going to give me honest feedback, because I want to make this a no-brainer for authors just like those that are listening on the other end of this live. So it's for those heart-centered brainiacs. So I hope they'll join me in this crazy adventure that I've latched onto, because I've helped so many authors, right? Like one-on-one, as well as doing it for them. And I can tell you, even today, the best performing content is when those authors show up for themselves, as themselves. Right. And AI is getting pretty good, but I don't want to be you on video, right? Like, so, it's really getting them comfortable, getting them posting with intention where it doesn't feel like a chore, doesn't feel overwhelming.
Yes, it feels empowering. I love that.
Yes.
I also love that this is like a group and community, because I will say, as an author myself, you often feel like you are in a silo and you are alone. And I was at this, business, this book mastermind over the weekend, and it was a group of authors, and there was just something so supportive and collaborative of having folks with you too. So I just wanted to say, I love that you're bringing like-minded people together, which is the coolest thing. Yeah. So Karlyn, we had one more question here, and then I want you to share where folks can find you if they have more questions, because this has been a really awesome active live chat. Patricia asked, how do I get followers onto my new Instagram page? I know that's a loaded question. You probably could talk for 8 hours about it, but give us maybe some like quick tips.
I think if you have other platforms already that are really successful, if you've got an email list, or even you just have friends. So like, for example, this new program that I'm launching, where I started with my network, and I told them about it. Right. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a new Instagram, hey, I'm doing this new adventure, I'd love for you to follow along with me. Here's the link. You have to kind of do some of that more sweat equity style of work first, because it is just a noisy place today. And then, of course, create content, have content up there already. I would aim for about 9 posts. So that's like 3 rows of 3, so that it shows that you're active and there's something for people to engage with. Because if they start to engage, then your profile gets a little bit of juice, and then it kind of starts to bubble up to the top of people's algorithms and feeds and gets you more of the right eyeballs.
I love that. Yeah, it's I agree wholeheartedly on this. And it seems like when someone's starting an Instagram or any social media, it really is grassroots. And this goes back to my what I always share with authors, that you're your best secret weapon. You can't just launch an Instagram page and expect followers to come. You literally have to tell people. You have to be your best secret marketing weapon. So
Yep.
that's where that grassroots, and you talk about sweat equity, put in the time to do it. It'll grow.
Yep.
So
And like an easy, quick action, low hanging fruit that you could do today, Patricia, is just put the link in your email signature, because chances are you probably send 800 emails a day. So
that's right.
follow me
That's
on Instagram for more tips.
great advice. I love it. Okay, Karlyn, where can folks find more information about you and the Expert Excellence Engine program?
I love it. osnapsocial.com is my main agency site. And then I will also drop in the link for the Expert Excellence Engine. And I'll drop it in the comments and we can go from there. But yeah,
I'll
follow
make sure
me on LinkedIn.
Perfect. I'll make sure we have all the info in the comments after this chat. And Karlyn, I just want to say thank you. I have so much gratitude to you, your brilliance, our friendship. This has been an awesome discussion. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, thanks for being active in the chat here too. We had some great questions today, and definitely check out the Expert Excellence Engine if you are an author. I just have to say, being in a community with Karlyn's brilliance is just the best place you can be if you're looking to grow your social platform and following. So thank you, everyone. And Karlyn, you rock, and we'll do this again soon.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.